Hello, welcome back. Today I would like to share a few verses from Psalms 1, starting at the first verse, and I'm going to read the second verse as well. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do he meditate day and night. Living God's way is best for us as believers, and it has its benefits. God's word is not only for our correction and our protection, but it also provides us instructions and gives us directions for our lives. This Psalms reminds us of the blessed life that we have when we follow the guidance of the Lord by loving, knowing, and applying His law, His word. And to be blessed is to be happy. And in this verse, the writer shares the three things that we're not to do that will help us to live a blessed life in God. And the first one is not walking in the counsel of the ungodly. To walk in the counsel of someone is to follow their ways, their precepts. And we know that the ungodly are those who choose not to live according to God's word. And it also says not to stand in the way of sinners, which is still those who choose not to live according to God's word, those who rebel against God. And finally, it says, nor to sit in the seat of the scornful. The scornful is someone who expresses contempt and ridicule towards others, which goes against the law of God. And you know what? Jesus himself summarized God's law as this in Matthew 22, verse 36 through 40. The disciple asked a question. It says, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophet. When you sum up God's word, it is to love God with everything that you have. And when you love somebody, you can see it in your actions, because love is not something that you just say, but it's also something that you do. It's something that you live, the way you treat God's word. And the second part is loving people, so how you treat God's people. In verse 2 of Psalm says that we should take delight in God's law. We should take pleasure in God's word by meditating on it day and night. And we do this by regularly studying God's word to know it and to become more familiar with it and its principles, and learning to love it more each day. And this requires commitment and discipline, which is to our benefit. Verse 3 says this, And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Like trees need water to survive and thrive, believers, Christians, followers of Christ, we need God's law and his word. The water provides continuous nourishment and refreshment for the tree. Likewise, God's law is a constant supply of life, resources for believers who delight and meditate on God's law, on his word. which provides us the nourishment we need and makes our lives spiritually fruitful. So I would like to close with this. Make sure that you make studying God's Word, knowing it and applying it to your everyday life a priority. Take delight in God's Word. Make it your pleasure to read it. Don't just do it out of duty, because in doing so, your life will be fulfilled and you will live the blessed life that is promised by taking delight in God's Word. And you will be like that tree planted by the rivers of water. You'll have the nourishment that you need for your everyday life to be fruitful. Now, when it talks about prospering, it's not talking about that you will just have everything that you want, but your life will yield fruit, good fruit, by studying, applying, living out God's Word. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.